of receivers and backs are perhaps unmatched throughout the league. Tony Hill and Drew Pearson wide. Roger Staubach, Tony Dorsett, a great speedy threat, and Robert Newhouse will operate alongside him. 1st and 10 Cowboys, no score, first play from scrimmage. Dorsett taken down finally from behind by Ken Stone, and he saved it all. They were waiting for him to break, and he almost did.
What a reaction from the crowd. This is one of the best rushing defenses in the league, second in the NFC. Watch Dorsett go against that 34 defense, get some over linebackers overplaying it, and now it's a sprint. And I'll tell you, Kenny Stone takes the long angle, but runs very well. The young man from Vanderbilt does save a touchdown. Well, that's scary when Dorsett breaks out on his first play.
He was the only man who had a chance, Ken Stone. Watch him cut him off.
Great tackle.
Scott Laidlaw is brought into play from the bench, and he is in the backfield with Dorsett now. Newhouse out. And Scott Laidlaw gets the call and gets about 6.
Good block by Fitzgerald, the offensive center. Here's that defense they're working on, a very good one against the run. At least we thought so. Pollard, the best pass rusher, Big Davis in the middle, and Dawson from Arizona at the left end.
The linebackers, Niels, Alleman, Williams, and Favren, who's playing very well.
And they miss Carney a lot.
Secondary, Allen, the veteran Roger Worley, Ken Green, and Ken Stone. 2nd and 6, 4-yard pickup by Laidlaw. At the St. Louis 35, they operate. Dorsett will operate. Looking for some place to go, and this time the pursuit does take care of his cutback. Mike Dawson made the tackle.
Bring up Roger Staubach's first throw. There's Dorsett's numbers. Incredible to think that in a few years he will eclipse the old 100-yard rushing mark that Calvin Hill set, huh?
Here's that last defense by
That's the 34. Now, the nose man is very important. That's Davis. Everybody reads, straightens up, and actually outfights that Dallas offensive line on the line of scrimmage, and TD had nowhere to go.
Dorsett ducked for a yard, so it's 3rd and 5, and Staubach has Preston Pearson in the backfield with him. Jay Saldy's also there. Staubach fires. He had it right on the money to Butch Johnson. Butch was a little bit off balance. Will we see Septien or Danny White?
Good play by Nelson over there as soon as the ball was bobbled. Inside man on the nickel, and that time the Cowboys did not go to the shotgun. They went with a double wing with Staubach under.
It'll be Raphael Septien to try a field goal of perhaps a little bit more than 50 yards, about 51. He's hit one from that range already this year. I noticed that Ben Agajanian was working with Raphael Septien before the game.
He's 2 for 5, over 40, so he has the range, and he did kick that 51-yarder.
This was about 51 and a half. Good snap. Might get there. It does. So the Cowboys, the number of plays it took Dallas to get 3 points on the board were 5. 51-yard field goal by Raphael Septien, who is about to kick off. Good kick. Willard Harrell fields it at the 2. And he's got some room. Out of bounds. Herded out by Dennis Thurman.
What a place to come and try to win a football game, though. The Cowboys are, what, 50-8 in this ball yard?
Since they opened Texas Stadium, they've won 50 and lost but 8.
They're 20 of their last 22, huh?
Yeah.
St. Louis beat them 2 years ago, and Minnesota last year, and the rest of it's all W's.
That is amazing. Tonight on CBS, 60 Minutes first, the award-winning one, Archie Bunker's Place. One day at a time, Alice, the Jeffersons, and Fernell Roberts is Trapper John.
There's Otis Anderson getting outside.
Anderson outside and out of bounds finally by Cliff Harris. And Benny Barnes, remember he had that tremendous day, opening day, against Dallas.
And what they say about this 215-pounder is he'll start inside. He's always thinking outside. Look at the dip. That's Bob Young, the big 290-pound offensive left guard, pulling and blocking. And somebody in the Dallas defense didn't get to the outside at all. No containment.
Bob Young, who came into the game with a pulled hamstring muscle, is out now. His place taken by George Collins in the Cardinal offensive picture. They're in Dallas territory at the Cowboy 49. Pitch out to Morris. And he struggles for 2 or 3.
Great play there by Bruning, who is, of course, the leading tackler for Dallas with 39 solos. How about those 2 opening plays by the running backs? Dorsett almost goes all the way, and Anderson comes right back.
And almost goes all the way. Cardinal offensive line now is Workman, George Collins, Banks, Terry Steve, and Joe Bostic. That's the interior lineman. The armbands worn by the Red St. Louis Cardinals in the memory of J.B. Kane. Pass caught by Dave Stief, or Stief, I believe it is.
Stief made a real good move, and it looks to me like they're telling Benny Barnes, Benny, you're a great player, and we love you, but today's going to be rough. Now, Hart has that foot all wrapped up, his left one, so he doesn't have to push off of it, and he was throwing rather easily, I thought, in practice. And he's always had the good zinger, the good arm.
He said before that the only thing that really bothered him was when he had to pivot to make a handoff quickly. The throwing motion.
Also, old folks have been wearing those kind of supporters in our arches for years.
Hurts me to pivot, too. There is Anderson from behind by Randy White. Just as he got back to the line of scrimmage, that was the Cardinal first down. Watch Randy.
Number 54 draws the double T block. Let's see what happens to Randy now. He just flat beats the block on the inside. Of course, that is not Bob Young. He and Young on opening day had quite a battle. Watch the left part of your screen. They try to bring Banks the center over on him, and he simply is too fast. Again, the Manster is about a 4.6 40 guy.
Just so quick off the ball. It'll be second down. He picked up a yard, perhaps make it 2nd and 9. Hart fakes to Anderson. Had a man in the person of Mel Gray open, but it was thrown a little low. Benny Barnes on the coverage. Looks like that's where they've decided to go.
Big thing that the Cardinals have had a problem with this year are turnovers. They're the worst in the NFC with 22 turnovers, and that's hard even for a great quarterback like Hart to overcome.
That statistic you just saw on your picture was obviously incorrect. He's not that good. He's a fine passer, but he's not that good.
He actually has 3 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. This is not Jimmy Hart's best year.
So it's 3rd down. And a rather long yardage. Still 9. Pat Tilley comes in motion. And Hart throws in the direction of Tilley. Cliff Harris, the cruncher, did his job.
And Tilley is small but nifty. That time, Hart kept his back in and doubled on both Randy White and Harvey Martin, and still didn't have a lot of time.
We saw a 51-yard field goal by Raphael Septien. We're going to see a 51-yard attempt by Steve Little. He's 4 out of 6, but none of them have been longer than 30 yards.
That's right. He's 0 for 2, over 30. But he does have a powerful leg, the Arkansas Razorback, huh?
Proud day for him. That's got plenty of distance.
Woo.
And that's good.
What a kick. That cleared by 10 yards.
Steve Little from 51 yards. Deep for Dallas. Little doesn't catch this one. It's going to be Wilson up the far sideline, now cutting back to the middle of the field. And Wilson stumbles at about the 28. Tries to get a little extra yard there with those arms. And the ball out. Bob Rozier and Charlie Davis were the leading tacklers for St. Louis. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Dallas Cowboys and the National Football League is prohibited.
Let's see how this Cardinal defense now, if they begin to read a little bit more and not overcommit against that Dallas rushing game.
3-3. The score as Drew Pearson comes in motion wide to the right.
Oh, yes.
Staubach sends both backs out in the direction of Billy Joe Dupree, who had it and couldn't hold it. Cardinals are saying he had possession, and I don't see any indication that that's incorrect. The Cardinals do have it. Charlie Davis made the recovery, and we'll see if Billy Joe had possession.
Watch Roger now swing the backs out of the backfield and hook them up, so he has 3 short receivers in that 10 to 12 yard area. And Dupree, of course, at over 6'5", is a good target. Looks like he does get it put away, And I think it's a legitimate fumble. A good alert play there by Allerman. I believe it's Allerman that makes the recovery.
Eric Williams made the hit that knocked it loose, and Allen made the recovery.
Hart might go right back upstairs now. Remember, Mel Gray has always played extremely well against the Dallas Cowboys. He's not in there right now, though.
Here's a formation that the Cardinals have been using and running from it. Wayne Morris, the ball carrier. The tight end, Jim Childs, I beg your pardon, the tight end, Gary Parris, lines up in the backfield and stays there.
Well, that Hollywood Henderson really met Steve, the big guard, right in the hole. And Hollywood, or we should say Tomas Henderson, always looks small and skinny, but don't be fooled. He carries around 214, 215 pounds, and is strong.
First draft choice of the Cardinals, of the Cowboys, in spite of the fact that his collegiate team won only one game his senior year. Morris stopped by D.D. Lewis. That was a 2nd and 9 situation, so he got about 5.
A lot of blitzing Cowboys that time. That might have been one broken tackle. That was a great call.
Mel Gray, there's been some doubt about whether or not he would play, checks into the game. It all kind of hurts. 3rd and 5.
He was so hurt last week against Philadelphia, he went 73 yards in the 3rd period for a touchdown. He does that very quickly.
And in past years, he's done it very often against Dallas. 3rd and 5. Jim Hart calling the signals and comes in motion with Pat Tilley. Hart outside. Otis Anderson, the intended receiver, could not hang on. Aaron Mitchell.
The rookie's a good receiver, too. He just didn't put that one away. He had 21 catches coming in. Little gets another shot. This young man was a #1 draft choice. Very few kickers have ever had that distinction. Except Arkansas kickers are different. I guess were you a #1 too?
No. This will be 41 yards. And plenty of distance on this one. As Steve Little is good from 41 and 51. But only 5 yards, and they got a 41-yard field goal in from Steve Little, who is about to root another kickoff.
Springs has a 70-yarder, but this is going to go over to Wilson.
At about the 1. Wilson to the 26. Jim Hart on the St. Louis sideline, conferring with the coaches upstairs.
Talking to Ma Bell about the next play.
Tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern Time, 60 Minutes. California is about to crack down on a doctor that the state says is involved in what could be the biggest case of medical fraud ever, but the doctor is still practicing.
It's frightening.
You want to know how come he's still practicing? Watch 60 Minutes. At the 25, they mark it down. Dallas 1st and 10. Cardinals lead 6-3. 2 field goals by Steve Little. Dorsett swings wide to the left side. Roger Worley, the first Cardinal to hit him.
Misdirection play, and there's an altercation down the field as Dawson and Billy Joe Dupree sort of elbowed one another going back to the huddle. And this was the one tip-off on the Cardinals all year. They say if they can't beat you on the field, they'll go ahead and fight. They are not afraid to mix it.
Your friends on the Eagles told you that they were nasty.
Oh, from the opening bell till it was over, they were still banging people. Very glad to get through playing St. Louis.
3-yard pickup for Dorsett, make it 2nd and 7. Ball's at the Cowboy 28. Preston Pearson joins Dorsett in the backfield. Tony D in motion. And Preston Pearson on a rare run from scrimmage gets just back to the line of scrimmage. Miami 13, New England 7, 2nd quarter.
Good play then by the defensive line. I noticed that on that 34 defense, they're pulled off the ball a little bit. That time Dawson really plugged it up.
It'll be 3rd and 7. Excuse me, Tom.
Pearson had only carried the ball 3 times before. That was a rare carry, as you said.
They have Tony Hill and Drew Pearson flanked wide to the right and Butch Johnson to the left. Preston Pearson is also in the game as Roger operates from the shotgun. Drew. No catch. his best to keep both feet down in bounds, and he made a great effort. He thinks he did it.
Ken Stone made a real good tackle on the play. Watch Roger. Staubach does not get off a clean pass because somebody just hits him across the numbers as he gets through with it. That looks to me like it's Dorsett, I believe, number 73, and there he is knocked out of bounds. And well, the official had a better position to see it than we did. Stone stoned him, huh?
In good fashion. Danny White, the NFC's leading punter, averaged 50 yards last week against Los Angeles. Needs another man. Here comes Brunick. Thomas Henderson wide to the left on the punt. Return team will watch for the hang time. This one will hang pretty well. Thomas Henderson. Roy Green was the Cardinal who fielded that punt. But Thomas Henderson, who excels on special attack, it would appear, against Green Bay, 14-0 at the half.
Doug Williams with a run for a touchdown and a pass for a touchdown. Looks like it.
Washington over Philadelphia, 7-0 at the half.
No love lost between those two clubs either.
That game in Washington, it's the one they switched around because the Pope was around. Hart outside to Mel Gray. Aaron Kyle, the Dallas defender, but Jim Hart looks sharp.
And tough coverage. That's a single bit of coverage on Gray, who used to get a 9-2. He's probably about a 9-5 man now. Good blocking on the left side as Wortman picked up Harvey Martin and company and did a very good job on the line of scrimmage. What a great catch.
And Gray is down on the St. Louis sideline. Number 85 tried to struggle to his feet. Couldn't make it. Now he's up, but he had knee problems, hamstring problems, and ankle problems coming in. Jim Childs has taken his place. 2nd and 2 as Tilley comes in motion again. Pitch back to Anderson. Anderson with that great speed, strength, and balance gets the Cardinal first down before Cliff Harris knocks him out of bounds. There is Mel Gray. It looks like a knee problem.
Especially against Dallas. As you mentioned earlier, he's made 13 touchdowns in the last 11 games between St. Louis and Dallas. He's had a lot of problems with the wheels the last couple of seasons. Some run by young Anderson.
Baltimore 7, Buffalo nothing. Second quarter score. Burt Jones, by the way, is back in at quarterback for Baltimore. Tight end comes in motion, and Hart goes straight back. Anderson will have some room to operate, and Anderson takes on Aaron Kyle with his right arm and right shoulder.
Second time in a row that he's gotten through to the secondary. This time Hart put his man in motion, make the formation strong left, and now he swings the back end behind that. You understand that with the two receivers already going deep, Anderson has a lot of room to run. I'm telling you, he attacks the defenseman with that shoulder. Good thing Kyle got low.
He looks like he intends to hurt folks.
He doesn't act like he's a rookie either.
No, sir. He didn't negotiate with the Cardinals like he was a rookie. They're in Dallas territory at the 44 as Tilley again comes in motion and Anderson bangs straight ahead. That offensive line deserves a little credit, too, for St. Louis because they're just knocking them back on their heels at the moment.
All right, you're looking at Randy White. They're in the flex. Harvey Martin gets hit by Wortman and controlled. And Anderson just steams on in and actually ran right by Randy White.
George Collins in front of Randy White did a heck of a job. 7-7 at the half, Cleveland, Cincinnati.
Collins is the big second-year guard out of Georgia.
Here is Hart back to pass. And again, he gets it out to Anderson. And he is caught by Thomas Henderson. Not many linebackers in any league could have done that.
It looks like the Cardinals are trying to run a slip screen. Either that or the Cowboys really put pressure on. You'll see Hart has a lot of blue and white immediately. Unloads quickly. And somehow, Henderson got caught inside a little bit. And only great speed by 56 pulled the play off.
Another first down for the Cardinals at the Dallas 32. They lead already 6-3. Mel Gray has now caught a pass, by the way. He's injured, but he's caught a pass now in 82 consecutive games. That's second behind Harold Carmichael, and we'll check and see whether he's caught one today or not. Oakland 10-7 over the Jets. Hart had it in the hands of Dave Steep. He was hit by Benny Barnes.
Hart just turned to the sidelines to Bud Wilkinson and put his palms up like, what else can I do? Working the outside very well, though. And, of course, the cornerbacks, some people have always thought Dallas might be thrown on, not only outside, but over the corners.
Otis Anderson is out. It's very, very hot. That's Charlie Davis with the towel on his head. Anderson is out. His place has been taken by last year's Oklahoma quarterback Thomas Lott in the backfield.
And you're right, he could throw.
Handoff is to Wayne Morris, who's hit quickly by Harvey Martin.
Talking to Ernie Stautner about Harvey Martin's rejuvenation suddenly, and they say that Harvey has finally learned to take the inside once in a while and gamble and move into the play more. You can see that that's exactly what he did out of the flex position. Boy, what a tackle. He's a superb pass rusher. Now he's really playing that run tough.
Bob Young, who limped off after the first play from scrimmage, is back in for the Cardinals. George Collins is out. It'll be third down. 9 yards as Tilley comes in motion again and cuts back upfield. Hart looking in that direction and throwing. Almost caught by Jim Childs, but he couldn't hang on. Benny Barnes, the Dallas coverer. And we'll see Steve Little again.
And Benny did not have very good coverage or position on Childs. If that ball had been just hung up a little bit, Childs had the catch. Benny looks like he's struggling a little bit over there today.
By the way, I just got the information that Harold Carmichael so far, with his streak at 103 consecutive games now in which he's caught a pass, 2 off the record, has not caught one in the first half yet.
Maybe Pat Fisher came out of the stands or something.
And, of course, the Redskins against the Eagles. Here's Steve Little. And that one is wide right. After hitting from 41 and 51, Little misses from a 35, 46-yard attempt that time. And the Cowboys will take over from that line of scrimmage.
But pretty good direction, and it wasn't hooked.
Missed it wide to the right. Next week's doubleheader on CBS. First game's Dallas-Pittsburgh. That's where we'll be. New Orleans-Washington. Tampa Bay, Minnesota. And then Chicago at San Francisco. Green Bay against Miami. The Giants will be in Los Angeles, and Philadelphia against Cincinnati.
Patrick, is there a better quarterback around than Roger Staubach? We've been saying that for years, but he's playing better, it seems to me, as he does get older.
Right now, the way they figure, which is very complicated, he's the best in the history of the NFL. Going deep for Tony Hill. Picked off by Carl Allen. The Cardinals will have the football, but he was down as the result of contact. Carl Allen and Ken Stone both back on Tony Hill.
Well, we have a new number put into the percentile. This is his 4th interception of the year. Ball is really thrown into double coverage. The cornerback, Allen, had nobody to cover, so he went back just to help out. And Hill had to wait for it a long time.
Coming into the game, he had thrown 62 consecutive passes without an interception. That was his 4th today, so that streak is broken.
The last one before this was the one run in by Darden for a touchdown in the Cleveland game, huh?
Right. Bob Young is back out again, and George Collins is at offensive left yard for St. Louis. 1st and 10 at their own 17. St. Louis leads Dallas 6-3. Wayne Morris hit in the backfield by D.D. Lewis, and then he got some help from a lot of his friends. Bob Brunig and Benny Barnes converged on there.
D.D. Lewis will come up and make the force, but these are good running backs. Anderson and, of course, Morris, don't think he's too underrated. We've seen him get 180-something against Minnesota one day, but make sure tackles don't come up at all.
And, of course, he's playing in his hometown.
That's right, the old SMU boy. He's a Mustang. He's got the fever, as they say, right?
Mania.
Mania.
I guess there's a difference. 2nd down, 7 to go. Tilley again comes in motion, and Otis Anderson heads upfield and whirls for a Cardinal 1st down. Wow.
He hurdled over 2 linebackers. D.D. Lewis and Brunig went down low, and 32 just stepped over him like it was the high hurdles. Is this some running back? Anderson came in with 663 yards, a 4.7 average. Look at this. Leaps right by the two linebackers and is spinning as he goes down with Cliff Harris hanging on.
5 carries, 44 yards for Otis Anderson. Maybe one of the best first-round choices of all time. In motion goes Steve, and back goes Hart. Steps up into the pocket and throws. Went behind Benny Barnes. It was deflected by Thomas Henderson. Barnes was on the good coverage that time.
Hey, Jimmy Hart proved that support that he's got in the arch is working. He stepped up in and made a good movement in the pocket to get it off. Anderson's a little bit scary, though, for a rookie, Pat. He seems to know where the defensive players all are. He's looking for ways to make them miss him.
You know, you mentioned before that he had that big day against Dallas opening day. Only 2 backs in the history of the Cowboys have ever had more than one 100-yard day against Dallas. Jim Brown and John David Crow. So that's pretty good company.
2 pretty good country running backs there.
Hart on a draw play to Morris. Brunig made the hit. He got about 5 yards. He had some help. Randy White.
Randy just stretched out a little clothesline across the top, and Morris ran right out from under it. Randy White is what they would call a consummate defensive tackle. If you had to get a prototype and carve one out, I think you'd make a Randy White.
I think so. Right now, they've moved him to left defensive end. He'll rush from the outside. Stalls comes into the middle. Mel Gray is back in the game. Quick healers. Hart goes back. Chase. Taken down by Randy White.
Now that's only Randy White's 2nd sack of the year, but he's had about 35 hurry-ups, and they're sometimes worse. He just comes right by the offensive right tackle, Big Bostic, the young rookie from Clemson. Maybe that change of position liberates him a little bit, too.
Well, it gives him a little bit more room to operate. There's nobody coming at him from the left anyway.
But you can hear him running.
Jim Hart heard him. Steve Little, averaging just under 40 yards a kick, but very few of the punts by Steve Little are returned. He keeps him up there a long time. That one off the side of his foot a little bit. Butch Johnson fumbles it. And I don't know who got it yet. Dallas. Butch, in fairness to him, was looking into a bright sunshine, and the ball came out of the shadows and into the sunshine, and you know how difficult that can be sometimes.
They want to hear 60,000 people sigh. Everybody really, this is a muff so far, and now the battle for control. Good teams seem to have the ball come right under them, though, don't they?
I need to correct one thing. That was not Butch Johnson. It was Steve Wilson back there looking into that difficult sun. Harry Smith is number 45 for St. Louis coming off. Roger Staubach, the quarterback, at his own 29. Newhouse and Dorsett, the runners. 2 tight end situation with Saldi and Dupree both into the game. Dorsett. Ken Green came up and hit him.
And played it pretty well. Kenny Green had to take on the fullback Newhouse, who really is a guard at about 225 and low. Good defensive play.
Bears 7-3 over Minnesota first quarter score.
Man, don't forget this team against the rush. The Cardinals have been very stubborn. 121 yards rushing is all football teams have been averaging. See what Roger can do.
Dorsett got 3, so it's 2nd and 7. Dupree. To the Cardinal 33. Ken Stone knocked him out of bounds.
Roger sneaked Billy Joe right behind Kurt Alleman, number 50, the linebacker. Watch number 50 to the left of your screen, and suddenly you'll see 89 show up. He might have delayed about a count getting there. How a big man like that can disappear, I don't know.
Well, the first quarter has disappeared. Pat Summerall with Tom Brookshire at Texas Stadium in Irving, Texas.
Cardinals had a pretty good first quarter. They have about 100 yards total offense. Hart is 4 for 10 for 37. And I don't know if Roger Staubach really has figured out that 34 defense the Cardinals have thrown at him yet.
Sometimes that's such a change of pace that it's difficult to adjust to. First down, Dallas at the moment at the Cardinal 34. Staubach has Newhouse and the man with the ball, Dorsett. Dorsett stumbles. He's hit behind the line of scrimmage by one of the Cardinal linebackers, number 59, Calvin Favron,
who's playing extremely well. That's where the Cardinals have really been hit as defensively. They missed Carney a lot. They've just had about 7 starters that have not been able to play. And in this league, if you don't have your 11 best at a time out there, especially against a team like Dallas, it gets to be long.
By the way, that Steve Little 51-yard field goal earlier, the first one he hit, ties the Cardinal record, which was set and held by Jim Bakken against Cleveland back in 1964.
And beats your old record by what, another yard?
1 yard, yeah.
What's a yard?
Yeah.
36 inches, that's what it is. I knew you.
Staubach looking for a screen pass and has it well set. Dorsett to the 20. Dorsett to the 15. First and 10, Dallas. Cowboy is down on the far side of the field, and now he's up.
He's mad because he didn't make the block. Rafferty and Fitzgerald both went for the same defenseman. Now watch number 62. He's made the snap, takes care, tries to control Davis, and now they're slipping out. I'll tell you, for a 255-pounder, Fitzgerald really gets on the outside. A great block in the open field.
That's some offensive line Dallas has. They call themselves 4 Irishmen and a Scot.
That's right.
It is Donovan, Fitzgerald, Rafferty, Cooper, and Herbert Scott. Fitzgerald says there are 2 kinds of people in the world, those that are Irish and those who wish they were. Dorsett breaks a couple down inside the 10. Hallerman, I think, knocked him out of bounds, yes.
There are few big guards that are better than Rafferty, number 64 anymore, too. Watch the Penn Stater stay on his feet and actually let Dorsett climb over his fanny and get into some open territory.
There's an injured Cardinal over on the far side of the field, and boy, that's been an unfortunate but familiar sight of the Cardinals this year. They have really had a rash of injuries. A lot of teams around the NFL have been hit by injuries, but none harder than Bud Wilkinson's team.
This one's walking off, though. That's Kenny Green, the second-year safety man, and a fine player.
Monday night on CBS, it's 2nd and 5 at the Cardinal 10 for the Dallas Cowboys.
Will they stick it on down, or will they try to throw this ball on second and 5?
I think they'll throw it.
I think Roger will go. Tony Hill's to the left, and Mr. Pearson's to the right.
And he has Laidlaw and Dorsett as his running backs. All good receivers, by the way. He'll use Dorsett. Dorsett gets none.
Boy, talk about penetration. Roy Green came under somebody. The safety man was on the line of scrimmage. Looks like the St. Louis Computer wins this one. Watch where number 25 comes from to make this tackle. I don't know. Still don't know where he looked like he was pulling with the offensive right guard.
Came around behind somebody. Cardinals make some changes, and so do the Cowboys now. See, if he had listened to us, he would have thrown it.
Be in good shape.
Now he's got his receiving core in there, and now he calls a timeout. The core is confused. Dallas takes a timeout. So that'll mean they have 2 left in this half.
It seems to me like Dallas is not really on all cylinders as far as concentration today. Do they seem like they're going through the motions a little bit?
No question about it. They do not look as sharp as they did last Sunday night against Los Angeles.
Of course, they have so many national telecasts that their hours are... They should get extra pay for Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night.
Couple of Saturday games.
Yeah. A couple of scrimmages on Friday morning, probably.
CBS has a sports special coming your way, the Turf Classic, next Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Jack Whitaker, the host. And his usual supporting cast that do such an excellent job of reporting horse racing. And next Saturday would be something special. Roger Staubach over talking to Tom Landry. As you mentioned before, Tom Brookshire, he's 37 years old. Somebody asked him how much longer he wanted to play. And he said 5 more years, because by the time I'm 42, Tom Landry has promised me he'll let me call my own plays.
And, of course, Tom Landry, he doesn't ever talk about retirement either, does he?
Doesn't have to, as good as he looks. 14-13, New England has come back over Miami, and the Patriots lead by 1.
Sam Cunningham with a 1-yard touchdown run for the Patriots. They are very much alive in AFC.
That's a very key game. They were tied for first place going into that contest. Staubach does not shotgun it. Comes straight back. Cardinals blitzing. Billy Joe Dupree, a spectacular catch.
And Roger Staubach went down. And as you people might remember that saw the Rams game, Dallas really picks up a blitz beautifully. A lot of people try to put pressure on him. Watch Roger stand in there, and a great grab as Billy Joe, the old Michigan State basketball player, just plays with it until he gets control.
Just a matter of him being about 5 inches taller than Ken Stone, who was trying to cover him man on man.
Touchdown number 4 for Billy Joe.
And a super individual effort. Raphael Septien with Danny White holding. It's 10-6, Dallas. Look at the touchdown catch by Dupree.
You're behind Roger now. You can see the extra blocking and the big rush put on from the outside by number 38, and Roger stayed right in there. Nelson had a pretty good shot at him, and that might be one of the best catches I've seen Billy Joe Dupree have since we've been doing.
Dallas drive for that touchdown, 70 yards, 7 plays. They kept it 4 minutes and 3 seconds. Here's Septien kicking.
Oh.
That might be his best kickoff ever.
Wow. Try that for distance, pal. That went out of the end zone over the white line. You know what Dallas does pretty
80
well?
yards.
And they eat that ball up. 35 minutes. They're the #1 team holding the football.
In civilian clothes, you just saw perhaps as we panned along the Dallas bench, John Dutton, who has not been activated yet. There he is.
He's bigger without pads on than a lot of big people. Look, he's standing right in there next to young Thornton and those people.
Well, look at Danny White next to him. Larry Bethea.
A #1 and #2 next year sounds like a Tex Ram Gilbrandt pretty good move to me.
That is Theodis Brown, who's in the backfield for the Cardinals on that last carry. Randy White made the tackle, so they've got 2 rookies now in the Cardinal backfield. The Jets have gone back ahead of Oakland 14-10.
Richard Todd to Wesley Walker, a young man who can catch it and lug it.
He might be the most dangerous deep receiver anywhere. Jim Hart, screen pass to Theodis Brown. He's got 2 blockers out in front. Randy White chases, but Theodis Brown has the first down. Randy Hughes and Cliff Harris. Jim Hart picking himself up.
Pretty good looking play. You want to see some different looks. Watch this. He'll fake the draw, try to hold it, make him think it's going to be a deep pass, and now slides it back out. Watch Collins, number 66, make a great block out there on Kyle, and he cuts off D.D. Lewis, too. St. Louis has a lot of talented people at the skilled positions. Be very careful with them.
Banks and Collins both did a superb job of acting on that last screen pass. Most linemen are inclined to not hold their blocks quite long enough, and they give it away. Theodis Brown in the arms of Larry Cole.
A lot of elbows being thrown out there. Let's talk a little bit about the Dutton maneuver. The Cowboys are noted for never giving up their 1s and 2s, but suddenly they thought it was a time to do it for an established great player, a super player. So what do you think about it?
Well, when you know how good he is or has been, and I'm certain thoroughly checked his physical condition before they made that move, you got a proven player. I don't think it's a bad move at all.
And when he's motivated, he can really play defensive end.
2nd and 6. Mel Gray comes in motion behind Hart now. Takes over. Safety blitz, and you see Hart sidearm that pass to get away from it.
A little added pressure.
You know, people, you're talking about Dallas giving up first-round draft choices. In the beginning, they did a lot of that. They gave up a first-round choice to get Eddie LeBaron. They gave up a first-round choice to get Bob Lilly. Another one for Ralph Neely.
They traded Golden Richards and got in that draft choice a fellow named Tony Hill. That's not a bad trade there either.
No. Gray and Tilley split wide to the right. In the bright sunshine, Bob Young is back in the offensive line. Anderson and Theodis Brown, the running backs behind Hart. Tilley starts to stay in the block. Thomas Henderson bats it away from Anderson.
Talk about a good-looking defensive unit. Cowboys that time, they double covered every deep receiver. Watch this move now. If your man doesn't come, you blitz. If your man comes, you go cover him. On this side, Aaron Mitchell was going ahead and blitzing. On that side, well, I'll tell you, Henderson made it look awfully easy.
He said the defense that they played in college when he was at Langston, they didn't know too much about sophistication that Dallas has. They called it 5-2 sick 'em.
They only won one game his senior year, didn't they?
That's right.
And that was the inter-squad contest, right?
Steve Wilson. Well, it's short punt this time. Wilson lets it bounce, and it takes a real Cardinal bounce. Still down to the 5.5-yard line, where the Cowboys will have almost 95 yards to move for another touchdown. What looked like another very good kick by Pat Summerall of Tom Brookshire at Texas Stadium in Dallas. Look at this score.
Joe Theismann just scooted in from 1 yard out, and the Redskins are anything but dead. 14-0 they lead.
They weren't that far off the pace either going in. They could tie the Eagles if they can win. Their record was 5-2. Philadelphia, of course, tied with Dallas at 6-1. Cowboys lead here 10-6. Drew Pearson comes in motion. Dorsett slants up the middle for 2 or 3, but he's hit very quickly, this time by Alleman.
Kurt Alleman's playing extremely well in there, having to call the defensive signals. Tommy Bettis signals out on the field, the defensive stuff. And, of course, Rogers always looking to that Dallas side where Coach Landry has his hookup upstairs. Mr. Ermal Allen and people, huh?
And fullbacks Scott Laidlaw and Robert Newhouse are bringing in the plays.
Keeps them lean.
They like it. 2nd and 8. At the 8. Pitch back to Laidlaw with Dorsett blocking out in front. Laidlaw gets a couple, but no more. Cardinal defensive units playing tough. Eric Williams led that charge.
This time the left guard stands up like they're going to go straight ahead in sort of a delayed outside toss off this. Laidlaw, the young man from Stafford, really doesn't have anywhere to go. And you're right, they're trying to put a tough defensive series on and then maybe block a punt or at least get good field position. And the kicking game is becoming very important in this league.
A lot of evidence that that's true right here. 2 field goals for St. Louis, 1 for Dallas already.
And that big punt by Little.
Here is Staubach operating out of the shotgun with Pearson back there with him. Back in his own end zone. Caught by Jay Saldi. And Saldi has a first down, Dallas. Harry Smith on the coverage.
And watch Jankowski, number 78, come and put the rush on Roger. Go right over the blocker. And Roger stands right in there and throws the completion and then goes down. Let's see if it's 76 or 78. It might be Charlie Davis that gets there. Whoever it was, he made good contact with Roger.
Preston Pearson got a good block on Mike Dawson. Rare that he's kept in the block. That time he was. Ball is all the way out to the 20 where Dallas has a 1st and 10. They lead 10-6. Dorsett back against the grain and almost breaks out of the pack. He got about 6 yards, 5 perhaps on that play. Roy Green, the tackler.
Must be something that they dug out of the movies. I'm talking about Ermal Allen and people like that for Dallas. That's the original play, the first play that Dorsett ducked out and made the big gainer on. And there's something they picked up where somebody overcompensates, either the nose man, and they were looking for it to happen. That time it just didn't quite come off.
You look at a play like that develop, and I'm sure you're right about them figuring it. But there are very few backs who could make that maneuver. 2nd and 5. And Pearson will come out of what looked like a short punt formation in motion. Staubach with good protection this time. Has Tony Hill and has it. Tony Hill does a little dance over on the sideline. Another Dallas first down. Steve Neal shoved him out of bounds.
Pretty good play. Roger fakes it. Dorsett does not set up the block really seriously. Roger has time, and this is the 6 pattern all the way across. And what does he have on his license plate? I think Hill has dial 80.
And I'll be there.
He is some kind of a receiver.
He goes out. Tony Hill does, and he is replaced by Jay Saldi, who lines up right behind the other tight end, Billy Joe Dupree. You saw the sign, Cowboys looking good. We hope that's what CBS looks like. Fumble, but I think Newhouse might have been down. Yes. Keith Simmons was the first to hit him.
Pretty good looking drive considering that little punt bounced deep into the territory. Some teams would have been content just to run one first down and then punt it back out and play even in the middle of the field. Not the Cowboys. They figure, well, we've got to go 93 for this one.
You saw Newhouse go out. That means that Laidlaw is in the backfield now with Dorsett. 6 out of 9 for Roger Staubach. 97 yards. Touchdown pass to Billy Joe Dupree. Rafferty in front of Dorsett, but he never got a chance to use that block. Keith Simmons, number 70, in the red, was the first one to take him down, and good defense.
St. Louis is really attacking from the defensive spot. They're coming off the ball and penetrating, which is sometimes dangerous, but always exciting. And boy, the Cardinals, they continue to just rip and hit, don't they? Easy.
They must have made enough of a defensive change to confuse somebody, because nobody even touched Simmons as he came off the ball. And he was on Dorsett quickly. Tony D, 10 carries.
Coming off 3 games in a row of 100 yards plus.
Ron Springs and Preston Pearson now in with Roger Staubach shotgun formation. Cardinals fake a blitz, but Staubach drops it. Steps up into the pocket, throws. He shakes a tackle. Another. Butch Johnson to the 25-yard line of St. Louis. Carl Allen finally took him down.
Talk about some pass protection. That time against a nickel defense, Roger had time to dribble the ball 3 times, take a jump shot, and then pass it. Excellent pass blocking. Look at Rafferty, 64, and Cooper, 61. There's Pearson helping him out. Now it's under control, and Butch makes his 3rd catch of the year. Looks like he's healthy again. Some player, will you ever forget the catch he makes in the Super Bowl against Denver?
That's the one that really broke it open. First down, Dallas at the Cardinal 30. They lead 10-6. Newhouse and Dorsett, the backfield tandem. Dorsett tried to cut back, tried to spin back to the other side. Mike Dawson cut him off. You talk about what a good year Staubach is having, and he is, but take a look at the receiving core he's got. Hill, Pearson, Johnson, Dupree, Saldi.
And they're fresh. I looked at the injury report the league puts out. Dallas Cowboys, no injuries to report. That's frightening.
They have a 3rd tight end that they think very highly of, named Cosby, that rarely gets into any action except on special teams. Throw back to Dupree, who juggled it again. He's hit by Carl Allen and knocked loose.
I'll tell you what, Billy Joe wants them all. He almost made this catch. I don't know how. Here he blocks, checks through, actually goes through the offensive line. Talk about battling for a 5-yarder. Look how many times he does it before Allen shocks him and knocks him out from underneath it. 52nd consecutive game for a tight end.
Tampa Bay 14, Green Bay 3. Here now in the 4th quarter.
Marco, a 42-yard field goal.
Preston Pearson, Ron Springs. Staubach in the shotgun. Comes out of the shotgun. And runs and struggles for the first down, and he comes very near to making it. What a
Butch Johnson, but he's covered. And this is the one thing that Tom Landry says he doesn't like. But Roger still thinks he can run with it. Who is that? Big Dawson chasing him, right?
Right.
What an effort. What an effort.
Cowboy first down at the Cardinal 14.
He's averaging over 5 yards a carry again this year.
That last leap as he stumbled was what did it, and that can only be done by a fine athlete. First down, Cowboys. Newhouse on a misdirection. Spins, he's hit by Alleman.
Right. They pull like they were going to sweep to the right with a misdirection. He sort of run behind it. And again, Newhouse comes out of that sun, like one of the sunspots you might not even see until he's already on you. Cardinals are tough against that run.
Buffalo Bills have tied Baltimore 7-7.
Joe Ferguson, a 21-yard TD pass to Brown. Chuck Knox is still building.
And he'll get it done. Second, they need 8. Laidlaw to about the 10. Again, it's Alleman, number 50. Two teams trying to find themselves, the Bears and the Minnesota Vikings. The Bears lead it 14-3.
Bob Avellini with a 2-yard touchdown pass to Walter Payton.
Cowboys face a 3rd and 6, and they have their receiving core in now. Dorsett goes out. Wide to the left comes Butch Johnson. Wide right, Drew Pearson. And the rest of the ones that can catch it.
Drew Pearson hasn't caught a pass yet, has he?
Not yet.
Touchdown number 7 for Tony Hill and catch number 31. Rogers straight drop back, both receivers running the deep sideline into the end zone. Boy, he just ran by Lee Nelson, who was the up back, supposed to take the inside away. Where did Roger Worley go? I didn't see the cornerback.
He must have been man-to-man on somebody else. They had 5 receivers operating on that pattern. Raphael Septien with Danny White holding. Cowboys lead the Cardinals 16-6. Change that to 17. The touchdown again.
You're from behind the St. Louis defense. Remember, you don't have much time to put pressure on. So now Rogers throwing dummy scrimmage stuff. Tony makes sure he gets 3 feet down.
Tony Hill is your friend.
Oh, Whistling Ray. He got me in trouble one day by shooting a cardinal. Remember when he shot that bird?
Yeah, I do. Here is Septien's high kickoff. Chasing Roy Green back into the end zone about 5 yards deep, where out he comes. And out he goes. This might be an all-time record. He was 5 yards deep in the end zone. No flags anywhere.
105 yards for Green, who came in average.
It seems to me I remember Ollie Matson going one time just about that far.
Here it is. Here's the kickoff and run back. We commented how Septien was kicking so deep. 107 by Terry Metcalf.
A couple of good blocks by Terry Metcalf, 107 yards.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I stand corrected. Longest kickoff return. Touchdown. Frank Sino had one for 105 yards back in 46. Ollie Matson in 56.
Yeah, I was playing in that game.
So that ties.
That ties Ollie Matson's. We'll see what they officially rule it. And if anybody ever deserves any oxygen, it's Mr. Green. 17-13.
Did he get into overdrive at about the 50?
Wow, he got a couple of good blocks, too. Here is what has now been established as an NFL record kickoff return by Roy Green.
108 yards. Al Carmichael with Green Bay and 56 out of 106.
And Nolan Smith from Kansas City.
Henderson State rookie. You're right, he got some good blocks that broke him out. But 108 yards, and that's a new NFL record. Spike it.
It was back behind the lettering. It says Texas Stadium back in the back. And our word from our main man here, Dallas Doug Todd, is that it was 108 yards. And that's where he started from. An all-time NFL record. Rookie from Henderson State, Roy Green, has put the Cardinals back in it. Ron Springs now from 1 yard deep in the Cowboy end zone. He makes it back to the 20 where his feet are really cut out from under him by Thomas Lott. One more look at a record. And
one more time. Let's see if we can pick up some of the blocks, Patrick. Pretty good one on Cosby right there. I believe that was by Theodis Brown, wasn't it, the fullback?
Yes.
Septien gets wiped out here.
That was by number 36, Rod Phillips.
Fullback that used to play with the Rams. From now on, it's just hit the tape cleanly and hard. What a play.
It really, if you stop and think about it, that was a high kick from Septien. Most coaches would have told you not to bring it out of there.
They might have been yelling not to.
Staubach with his Cowboy lead now down to just 4. Lofts it high and it's intercepted by Ken Stone. Stone down the sideline. And the Cardinals come roaring right back. They'll have it at the Cowboy 21. Tony Hill
hurt himself making the tackle. That time Roger did not want to throw the ball. He wasn't sure whether he wanted to run it. Watch it, indecision. And Stone, by the way, in the last 18 games for St. Louis, has 18 turnovers. That's his 6th interception this year. Used to play with Washington and has really made himself a reputation in St. Louis. Great play.
Pass was intended for Jay Saldi, I guess you could say, but it was a pass that possibly or almost certainly shouldn't have been thrown. Theodis Brown and Otis Anderson, the running backs, and Hart goes right to work. Caught up the middle by tight end Gary Paris. Inside the 15.
Some throw by Hart. Talk about the fastest gun. We've seen him throw sidearm, under rush. Now he's got a bad arch on that left foot. Watch him slip this one sideways, right in like a handoff. Classic quarterback.
We're talking to Bud Wilkinson now. Right back in the picture.
Some
highly recommended. At the 14, Otis Anderson. Inside the 10 to about the 7. Randy Hughes, the safety man, made the tackle.
Great thing they say about Anderson from the eye is his change of direction. Watch him shuffle right here. Little skip move. Jimmy Brown and about 2 other backs are the only people I can remember that had that ability to make the movement in the hole and slide.
1st and goal, Cardinals. At the 8, Hart fumbles. The Big Red gets it back, but just barely. Keith Workman put the big Hulk on it. And the Cardinals burn a timeout. They have 1 left. It broke the old record of 106. Held by Green Bay's Al Carmichael against Chicago in 1956 and by Kansas City's Nolan Smith against Denver in 1967. So
I only went down under 1 kickoff in my life, and it was Buddy Young went 103, and they took me right off the team.
I couldn't get off that team. The Otis Brown and Otis Anderson, sorry, Armstrong. Another good runner. Knocked away. from Pat Tilley at the last moment by Benny Barnes.
You don't call that guts. If a cornerback makes that play in the end zone, you call it courage. You've got to forget your man and go ahead and swat it away. And the one thing Barnes has always had is really raw courage. Great play.
He illustrates that so often on the special teams.
He even scored a touchdown this year, picking up the fumble and
first of his career, wasn't it?
Swivel hipping down the sidelines.
Against Minnesota.
Is he from Stanford, too?
One of 4 on the Cowboy roster.
Amazing.
Third down coming up. 11. Ball at the 11. And a rush from Randy White. Hart had no chance. Jim Hart was really popped.
Looked like Randy White came right through where Bob Young and Workman were trying to take care of the defensive stunt. Watch the center of your screen and see where 54 comes. He goes to the outside, and Young gets cut off. You can see Harvey Martin cuts off Workman. I think Jim Hart is really hurt. If Randy White grabs you like this, it's expiration time. That is tough.
The other Dallas rusher was the rookie, Bruce Thornton. And if Randy White hadn't been there, I think he might have. Jim Hart. Remember, he had a separated shoulder last year.
That's it. He's moving around a little bit.
That turf is not cushioned very much. It's very hard. Looks like now it's encouraging. He's just got the wind knocked out of him. Next week, the Cowboys against Pittsburgh, a Super Bowl rematch. New Orleans against Washington, Tampa Bay, Minnesota. Chicago at San Francisco, Green Bay at Miami, Giants at Los Angeles, Philadelphia, Cincinnati.
There's Jimmy Hart, Southern Illinois. He's been in the same town, in the same uniform for a long time. He's 6 for 15 for 55 yards today. And he wasn't supposed to play all week. They said he might not play at all.
Steve Little with Roger Worley holding just outside the 30. So it'll be just over a 40-yard attempt for Little. Block. The ball goes into the end zone.
I believe Thornton got it, number 77. Boy, does he have enthusiasm, doesn't he?
He would indicate that he got it.
You can usually tell who has it because they have the stitches, imprinted on their arms or hands. I believe it's Thornton. He thinks he got it.
And he goes way up. It was either Thornton or Doug Cosby.
Cosby, of course, is the 6'6" tight end who goes up over the back of maybe Thornton. Uses the broad back.
And Cosby does get credit for blocking it. So Dallas will take over back at the original line of scrimmage just outside the 20, and Newhouse ducks under Keith Simmons and Kurt Allerman.
It's illegal to assist and get somebody. I can remember when one time the Rams put Don Burroughs up on somebody's shoulders, remember? And they walked around like they were on stilts.
On top of Big Daddy Lipscomb, wasn't he?
Blocked it, too. Almost carried the skinny defensive back through the upright.
We're higher than the goalpost.
That is illegal to assist, right?
It is now. It didn't used to be. That'll be the final play of the first half, and what a first half. Cowboys lead the Cardinals 17-13. Dallas leads the Cardinals 17-13. Here, let's check out some of the other scores, Tom. 14, the voice of Frank Gleber you can hear in the background. Don Perkins. Boy, was he a good one.
Oh, he didn't hit that hole very fast, did he? They've already introduced George Andre.
From 1965, at wide receiver.
Check the next one.
The all-time leading Cowboys receiver, number 22, Bullet Bob Hayes.
Standing ovation time.
With the score. Dallas 17, St. Louis 13 at the half. We'll return to Texas Stadium after this word from your local station.